Hello and welcome to another episode. In today's episode, I am going to be teaching you how you can style your text using CSS. But before we get started, if you're new to my channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Also, if you find this video useful for you or for somebody else that you may know, don't forget to share it with them. That way you might be helping somebody else. And if you like this video, don't forget to give me a thumbs up. Also, for those of you asking how you can support my channel, I am going to leave the link of my PayPal account in the description below. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, so to get started into adding style to your text on your website using CSS, I want you guys to open the same website that we've been working with so far, which is w3schools.com. I want you to go to the CSS section, and you're going to scroll all the way down to where it says CSS text. Okay, I want you to click on it. And this is going to be where we're going to start. And we're going to be coding with the same website and actually the same project that we've been working with in our last episode. So how you can style your text using CSS is very simple. You actually have a lot of properties that can help you to format your text. And in this video, I'm going to cover some of these properties. We're going to cover color, we're going to cover alignment, we're going to cover decoration, transformation, spacing, and shadow. So let's get started with the first one, which is how to add color to your text. But in order for us to do that, I want you guys to open your code and go to the index file, and we're going to type in our HTML document some paragraphs. So let's go ahead and add a p tag, and let's just go ahead and add some text here. Okay, and we're going to do the same. I mean, let's actually add a couple of paragraphs here. To be quite frankly, I want to add a couple of them. Yeah, so how many things we have here? Color, alignment, decoration. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we're gonna add, let's say, 6 paragraphs. 3, 4, 5, 6. I added 7. Let's add 8 paragraphs just to show you a couple of examples whenever we're coding in our style. So I'm gonna hit save, and we're gonna go back to our welcome page. I'm gonna hit refresh. And here are all the paragraphs. In fact, you know what? Let's go ahead and do the following. I want to erase the previous 2 paragraphs and the image that we have inserted before. And I am going to clear all the style that we added in our previous episode. So I'm going to save this, and I'm also going to save this. And now we're going to go back to our web page, and we're going to hit refresh. And there you go. So we now only have the paragraphs to get started. So to add color to your text is very simple. You only have to use the property called color, okay? And this is used so you can specify what color you want your text to be. And here are a couple of examples. You can go ahead and you can change the color to blue, green, or whatever you want it to be using this property. Now, you use the property, right? And then you add the value, which is going to be the color. You can use as value just the color name, like red, or you can go ahead and actually determine the color in HEX value, RGB value, however you want it. I already explained how this works when it comes to HEX RGB in one of my previous episodes. So I'm going to also leave the link of that video in the description below. So to use the color property here with CSS, what we are going to do is classify all of our paragraphs. Now I already did this, so just make sure you add a class to each paragraph. Okay, so real quick, to give you an example in how this works in our code, using the property named color, we're going to go back to our text. As I said before, you just have to add some classes here to each paragraph, so we can go ahead and use each property differently in each paragraph. Okay, so for the first paragraph, we're going to name the first class, I don't know, let's name it blue, and let's go ahead and color our text blue so you can see how it works. So I'm going to do that. Make sure to hit save so you can see the changes applied. Now I'm going to call blue here, and I'm going to use the color property, and then I'm going to say that this the color of the first paragraph is going to be blue. Close the syntax, and I'm going to hit save, and now I'm going to go back to our welcome page and hit refresh. and boom, there you go. You have the first paragraph colored in blue. Now, if you want, you can go ahead and play around with this. I mean, the color doesn't have to be blue. I mean, I just gave the name of the class, right? Blue. But you can go ahead and color the text in different ways. You can go ahead and color it in red. I'm gonna hit save and let's hit refresh, and there you go. Now the color is red, and you can go ahead and play around with this. Remember as well, you don't have to specifically use a name for this color. You can use the RGB form, and then just go ahead and give it a quick guess. So let's say red 255, green 255, and then let's call blue 255 in RGB. That gives us a color white. So if I hit save and I hit refresh, now the color is white. That's why you cannot see it. So everything works. I mean, up to you what color you want to give to your text, right? I'm simply going to leave this in color blue for now. I'm going to hit save and I'm going to hit refresh. So there you go. Our text color is blue. That's how simple it works to use the property named color here in CSS. Now, let's go ahead and use another thing here within the color property. We can use the background color property as well. And this is going to give your background a different color and your text a different color. So let's go ahead and play around with the background color property in our code. Okay, going back to our CSS style here, I said that I want the color to be blue, but I want my background color to be, let's say, yellow. Okay, I'm going to make it yellow. I'm going to hit save now. And let's go back to our welcome page. And this time I'm going to hit refresh. And there you go. Now the background is yellow and the text itself is blue. Very easy, right? And that's the first property, just so you can give your text color and a background color, right? Now let's go ahead and let's move on to the second one, which is called text alignment. Now, what does text alignment do? I think that you might have a quick guess. Let's go ahead and read a little bit here in W3 School. So the text alignment property is used to set the horizontal alignment of a text, okay? So the text can be left, right, aligned, center, or justified. It's like when you're working with your Microsoft Word and you want to center a text or you want to make it justified or stuff like that, the same way the text alignment will work. And the text alignment has different type of values. You can go ahead and you can use the value center, you can use the value left, and you can use the value right. And the property, it's called text align, as it says here. So let's go ahead and let's play around with the same paragraph that we've been working so far here. And we're going to give this paragraph a text align, okay? And we're going to align this text to the center so you can see how this works. Okay, I'm going to say text align to the center. Now I'm going to hit save, going back to our code, and I am going to hit refresh. Take a quick glance in how this look, right? I'm going to hit refresh now, and boom, now all the text is aligned to the center, as you can see. So you can go ahead and you can play around with this. We can make it not center, but actually justify. Hit save, and now I'm going to hit refresh, and now the text is being justified. Okay, now another thing you can use here is align your text to the left or to the right, right? So let's go ahead and let's see the example. Let's say I want to align this to the left, hit save and refresh, and now the text is aligned to the left. If I want to align this text to the right, to align the text to the right, by the way, I'm going to use the second paragraph, and let's give this a class of, let's just call it paragraph number 2. So I'm going to call it PN2. Okay, so let's call it .PN2. And here we're going to use the text align property, and we're going to align this to the right. Okay, I'm going to hit now save. Okay, now let's hit refresh, and boom. Now the text has been aligned to the right, as you can see. So go ahead and play around with the property text align, and you will see how many things you can do with it. Now, there is another thing that you can do here when it comes to aligning the text, and is to give your text a direction. Okay, there are two properties that you can use to do this. One is called direction, and the other one is called Unicode BIDI. Okay, they can be used to change the text direction of any element. So let's go ahead and try both of them out. And I'm simply going to copy them so you can see how this is going to affect all your text. And we're going to apply this to the paragraph number 3. So let's give the class a name of paragraph number 3. I'm going to hit save. And now we're going to call the class paragraph number 3. Okay. Now I'm going to paste the direction and the Unicode in here. Okay, I'm going to hit save, and let's go back to our page, and now I'm going to hit refresh. Boom. And now see what this is doing is just scrambling your letters one by one. Okay, so you see here it says Maxim, and here Maxim is spelled backwards, EMIXAM. So the property direction in Unicode BIDI, it does exactly that. Put your text in the opposite direction. Spell it backwards, in other words. Okay. Now there is one more thing that you can do here in the text alignment of your CSS, in your CSS code, and that is to vertical align elements. Okay, now if I go ahead and I use the vertical alignment in any of my paragraphs right now, it's going to be worthless because you're not going to actually see the changes. So for this example, we're only going to take a look at the one which is in w3schools.com. Okay, now we're going to hit here where it says try it yourself, because for vertical alignment, this is what it's going to do. By the way, let me explain. So vertical alignment, what it's going to do is that it's going to align vertically any element either to the top, to the bottom, or to the middle. So if you have an image in your website and you want that image to be in the top of the element, the image will be at the top using the vertical align top, right? And same thing if you want it to be at the bottom or in the middle. So let's go ahead and let's hit here where it says try it yourself, and I'm going to show you here the example. So take a look at the code. Right now the image is set up to vertical align to the top. So here this image is at the top. Now here is at the middle, and here is at the bottom. Now you might not see it quite well because it's not like a huge difference, but if you want, I can go ahead and actually try it out with our code so you can see that. And again, you're not going to see that much of a difference, but I'm going to add an image into our text, and then you're going to see the differences in there, hopefully. So let's go ahead and let's go back to our code. Let's go to the index .html. I'm going to name paragraph number 4, PN4, and I'm going to call here an image that we are going to add. Let's go ahead and add an image after this word right here. Okay, so I'm going to add an image, and the image source is going to be in images / and let's use the puppy image. Okay, that's the image we are going to use. Closing this, going to hit save. Let's go back to our code here, and I'm going to hit refresh. And now, well, the big dog is here in the middle of our paragraph, right? Okay, so now that we have added the image, let's go back to our code, and I am going to call our code PN4. Actually PN4, but we're going to call the image in this case. Okay, and here we're going to give it a height, and we're going to also give it a height of, let's say, 100 pixels, and let's give it a width of also 100 pixels, just so you can see it, okay, a little bit better. And I already hit refresh, by the way, on the image. So this is how it looks like. Okay, so there we go. Now we have that image here. Now let's go ahead and let's use the property vertical align. Okay, and we're going to vertical align this image to the top. I'm going to hit save, and I'm going to hit refresh. As you can see, the image now is on top of this text, and the text has changed to the top. Okay, now let's go ahead and let's change it. Now let's align the image to the middle. Hit save, and let's hit refresh. Boom, all the text now is aligned to the middle. And if I go ahead and I apply the bottom, I'm guessing that you're pretty sure what that's gonna do now, right? Okay, so let's hit save and now let's hit refresh. And boom, now all the text is aligned to the bottom. So I hope that makes sense to you right now. If you have questions about this, remember that you can always leave all your questions in the comment section below, and I'll be more than happy to answer them as soon as I can. Okay, so let's move on to the next topic today, which is text decoration. So text decoration is a property used to set or remove decorations from the text, okay? And the value from text decoration should be none. So this is often used to remove underlines from any type of links. So let's say that we go ahead and we add a hyperlink into our text. Let's do that here. Let's go to our paragraph and let's call this paragraph number 5. And let's add a hyperlink here. Let's say to this word, we're going to add a hyperlink to www. I don't know, let's say AskLixi.com. Okay. And the word that is going to be here is go to this website, right? Oh, I forgot to ask the href, which is going to be this, and the href is going to be AskLixi.com. Okay, so let's hit save. Now let's hit refresh. Okay. Oh, and by the way, I want to add a space after this thing right here. Hit save. Now let's hit refresh. And there we go. So now we have this hyperlinked in here because I added a an href here, which is sending them to go to this website, right? So whenever you add that on your HTML code, by default, this is going to do a this is going to format this text in a different way than the rest of your text. Okay, so whenever you go ahead and you add a hyperlink here, that's what's going to happen, right? Now, here's one thing that I want to do. Let's say that I don't want this type of style be there into our paragraph. I want everything to be just the same, just not to have this type of format. So for that is when we are going to use the text decoration property, and we're going to set the value to none. So it can remove any text decoration from any A tags, like this one right here. Okay, so I'm going to go back to style, and I am going to call all A tags in here, and I am going to set the text decoration for them to none. Okay, when I do this, and I don't have to call paragraph number 5 here because I'm setting this to all A tags. As you may know, when I explain selectors in CSS, if you do not know how this works, I'm going to also leave the link of that video in the description below. But anyways, by using the A tag, this is going to remove all the text decoration from all A tags I insert into this page. So I'm going to hit save. And now when I go back to my welcome page and I hit refresh, you see, now the underline is no longer there. It still has the color, but the line that was there, it's not any longer. So that's what exactly the text decoration property does. It's going to remove the text decoration from A tags, and not only from A tags, but from any other element that you have set, probably any type of lines, right? So let's go ahead and let's see some other examples. You can set it up to none if you want the website to remove all the underlines, but what you can also do is go ahead and give additional values to this. You can set it up to overline, line through, or underline. You can go ahead and actually try it by yourself so you can see what this is going to do to each one of them. But I'm going to give you an example right now, and I am going to change the text decoration from none, and I'm going to set it up to overline. Actually, let's set it up to line through. Okay, I'm going to hit save now. Going back to our welcome page, I'm going to hit refresh, and now you see it has a line through. Same thing is going to happen if I use the other two, the underline or the overline properties. It's just going to add a line. And if you set it up to none, it's going to remove the line. So the text decoration property is used to set or remove decorations from the text. And it's going to be used often to remove the underlines from the links. Okay? So that's what text decoration does. Moving on to the next topic, we're going to be talking about text transformation. Okay, so the text transformation property is used to specify uppercase and lowercase letters in a text. And it can be used to turn everything into uppercase or lowercase letter. Or if you just want to capitalize letters, you can also do that here. So to use the text transformation property, you're going to use this text and then hyphen transform. That's going to be the property that we're going to use. And we're going to see this in the paragraph number 6. So let's go ahead and call paragraph, let's give it a class to paragraph number 6. And let's call paragraph number 6 here in our CSS style sheet. So let's call paragraph number 6. Okay, and we're going to be transforming all of our letters to uppercase. So text transform. If you want to set them up all of the letters to uppercase, you're going to use uppercase. Okay, so uppercase. I'm going to hit save. Going back to our web page. Oh, and let's make sure I saved also the index here, because if not, you're not going to see the changes. Okay, so going back to our welcome page, to this paragraph now, all the letters should be in uppercase. So let's go ahead and let's hit refresh. And boom, you see now all letters are uppercase. Same thing if, let's say, I want to use a different value and I want to turn all of them to lowercase. I simply change from uppercase to lowercase. Let's do that, lowercase. Let's hit save, going back here, refresh, and now everything is in lowercase. And last but not least, if you want to just capitalize the letters, you can also do that. So let's go ahead and let's use that value here, and let's say capitalize. Save this info, going back to our website, let's hit refresh, and boom, now you have all the letters from each word capitalized. Very simple. Okay, so that's what text transformation does. You can turn all the letters on your text either uppercase, lowercase, or you can simply capitalize all of them. Okay, let's move on to the next topic. So the next topic is text spacing. Okay, so text spacing is going to be used to specify the indentation of the first line of a text. Okay, so it's going to indent the text to however amount of pixels or points you want it to be. So let's go ahead and give you an example. If we want to, let's say, let's use the same paragraph, this one right here. This was paragraph number 6. Let's go ahead and let's say that I want to indent the text. The first, this first portion, I don't want it to be so close to the left side of our screen. I want it to have at least a space of 100 pixels, right? So I can do that with text indent. So let's go ahead and let's use the text indent property, text indent, and then we're going to give it 100 pixels. I'm going to hit save. Now you're going to see how this is going to move to the right. Okay, now let's go ahead and hit refresh, and boom. Now I have 100 pixels of space from the first word or from the first letter of this text. And then all the rest, obviously, whatever it is going to move on smoothly. So that's what text indent do. Now, on the text spacing topic, we have some other things that we can do. We can give spacings to our letters as well. And for that, we're going to use the letter spacing property. So let's go ahead and let's do that in this same paragraph. Let's use letter spacing, and let's give a space of 5 pixels to each letter in this paragraph. So let's go back to our welcome page. Right now, all the letters are close to each other. Now, when I hit refresh, Boom, you see now each letter has 5 pixels of distance, one from the other. Very simple. That's what letter spacing is used for. And you can even set it up in a negative way. Let's go ahead and let's do that so you can see how this looks like. It's going to be a mess, but anyways, let's give it -5 pixels. Let's hit save, hit refresh. And now you see how all the letters are one on top of the other. That's because we have set the value to negative, and now everything, is just one on top of the other. But anyhow, that's what letter spacing will do here. Another thing we can do is we can set the line height in your text. So between, let's say as an example, and by the way, let's give it just 5 pixels for now. I'm gonna hit save. I don't like how that looks. It's a mess. Let's hit refresh. Okay, and there you go. So now we have 5 pixels, one letter between the other. Now between this line and this line, I want also to have a space. So for that, we are going to use a property called line height. Okay, and let's use it right now so you can see what I'm talking about. So line height. So let's say that I want a distance of 5 pixels from one line to the other. So I'm going to hit save, and let's go back to our code here. Oh, here, I'm going to hit save. Let's go back to our welcome page and let's hit refresh. And now we have 5 pixels of distance. Let's give it a little bit more. Let's give this, I don't know, 20 pixels of distance. Let's hit save. And now let's hit refresh. And now, okay, so now it has 20 pixels. Let's do a little bit more. Let's do 50 pixels from one line to the other. I'm going to hit refresh, and there you go. See the distance between one line and the other? It's a lot. So it's 50 pixels. So that's what you're going to do. That's a property you're going to use when you want that in your code. Okay, another thing you can do is give word spacing. So let's remove, or let's just use paragraph number 7 for this. I'm going to show you paragraph number 7. And let's obviously call the class here, paragraph number 7, hit refresh. I'm sorry, let's hit save, and let's hit save here as well. So on paragraph number 7, as you can see, is this one right here. Everything right now, each word it has a little bit of space, not that much, one from the other. So let's say that we want to give between each word a space. So we're going to use word spacing, and we're going to apply 10 pixels of distance between each word. So now when I hit refresh here, you see each word, it has 10 pixels of distance, one from the other. So that's what you will do with that property. Now, another property that you can use for text spacing will be the white space property, which is going to specify how wide space inside an element is handled. Let's try it out with the paragraph number. Well, let's do still paragraph number 7 so you can see, but I'm going to remove the word spacing here. Okay, and let's go ahead and let's apply the white space to now wrap. I'm going to hit save. Now we're going to go back here, and this was the paragraph where we had the spacing of 10 pixels between each word. Now when I hit refresh, like here, you see by default the paragraph itself is just all one. But as you can see, when you hit the end line, it goes to another line. Like when it reaches the end of the window, right? It goes to another line. Now in here, it doesn't go to the next line. It's just all in once. It doesn't wrap, in other words. So that's why you're going to use the white space now wrap value if you want to remove that. Anyways, I just like how it looked like before, so let's go ahead and change it to the word spacing of 10 pixels. I'm going to hit save there, and in fact, you know what? Let's go ahead and let's use the white space just with the 10 pixels of distance. Okay, and let's say now wrap, just so you can see how it's gonna look like. I'm gonna hit refresh, and there you go. You see now all the spaces of 10 pixels and everything is just in one same line. So that's why you would use now wrap, okay? Because it's going to move everything in the same line. It's not going to make your paragraph move to another line. It's not gonna make it wrap, in other words. Okay, so I hope that's self-explanatory, but if it's not, remember that you can always leave me your questions in the comment section below and I'll be more than happy to help you. Okay, so last topic for today is going to be the text shadow. So as you may know, the text shadow, what it's going to do is add shadow to your text, right? And you're going to use the property called text shadow for this. And it's just used like this to set up a value of some type of pixels, right, to your shadow itself, for each letter. So let's go ahead and let's call paragraph number 8, the last paragraph here. I'm gonna hit save, and let's call paragraph number 8, and we're going to apply. The first thing that I want to apply here is the letter spacing. Actually, let's make everything, I'm going to transform text, transform everything to capital, so you can see the difference. Okay, and I'm going to hit refresh. You know what? I forgot. It's not capital what I want. It's actually uppercase. I want everything in uppercase. So let's save this and let's hit refresh. Boom. So now everything is in uppercase, and this is the last paragraph which we're going to be working with. Now we're going to apply the text shadow property for this. So let's say text shadow. Text shadow, and I'm going to give it a shadow of 3 pixels. Let's hit save. Let's hit refresh. You cannot look at it because it's not that big, right? And what I'm going to do is give more pixels, and actually we're going to apply some colors to this. Okay, and to do that, let's go ahead and let's show you, and let me show you this first at W3 School. Okay, so you can go ahead and you can add with pixels a shadow, right? And then on top of that, you can go ahead and you can add your color, whether you want it to be red, whether you want it to be blue, and you can even add different type of effects to your shadow. Okay, so to do this, I am going to simply use the following, and you specify the horizontal shadow, right? Then the vertical shadow, and that's how you're going to obtain the effect, right? So I only applied this to the horizontal shadow. That's why we were not looking at it. Then we're going to apply this to the vertical one. It's going to be 3 pixels as well. If I hit save right now and I hit refresh, now you see everything has a shadow. It's like duplicate, but it's not actually a duplicate letter. It's just the shadow of that text. Now, if I want to add a color, you're going to put that in the 3rd place. So let's say that I want to add a color, and let's call it red. Let's save this, and I'm going to hit refresh. Boom. Now the shadow is red. And you know what? Let's say that I want to add not 3 pixels, but 5 pixels to this right now. I'm going to hit save, and now I'm going to hit refresh. See how it moves a little bit? If I go ahead and I even do this to 10 pixels, let's hit save, hit refresh, and it starts going a little bit down. Why? Because remember, the first 2 pixels is horizontal. Then the next 2 pixels is vertical. Okay, so if I go ahead and I give the same horizontal and vertical, let's say I'm also going to give horizontal 10 pixels. If I hit save and I hit refresh, it moves everything around. So anyways, that's how you are going to apply the text shadow to your text itself. And if you want to go ahead and you want to play around with this and you want to check out more ways to style your text, feel free to visit w3schools.com and read a little bit more. You're going to learn a lot more about different type of effects, different type of styles that you can apply to your text and your website, and much more. Remember that just by reading and practicing, you're going to be learning each day a little bit more. So anyways, that was it for this video. I know it was a little bit long than usual, but it was a big topic. We were talking about text styling today, and there are a couple of ways that you can style your text. I just wanted to cover the most important things. The next thing is up to you to study and practice what you have learned here today. Remember, if you have questions about any of the topics that we discussed today in here, you can leave your questions in the description down below, and I will reply them as soon as I can. Okay, so that was it for today, everyone. I hope you have enjoyed this video. If you have enjoyed this video, don't forget to give me a thumbs up. As well, remember, if you're new to my channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. And if you find this video useful for you or for somebody else that you might think will use it, go ahead and share it with them. Hopefully, you'll be helping somebody else. And remember that you can always ask Lixi. Bye, everyone, and see you again in the next episode.